Okay, welcome back to the NRCIA podcast. Today we're doing something a little different. Instead of our normal mastermind format, we're gathered a panel of seasoned NRCIA certified inspectors who have each faced some tough questions and objections that come up when discussing the value of inspections, certifications, and even membership itself. You've probably heard some of these before. Maybe even said them yourself. I don't have time, I'm already busy, price is too high, or inspections should be free. It's part of the roofing job. In this episode, our panels will share their real world experiences, their practical insights, and what helped them push back those same obstacles to grow their business and elevate their reputation in the industry. So if you've ever wondered how to confidently address these objections, or you've even struggled to see the bigger picture when it comes to NRCIA value, then this conversation is for you. So let's get into it. We have a wide variety of panelists today, anywhere from someone who is green and new to the NRCIA to another member who's been with us for several years, an award-winning inspector. So I just want to briefly introduce you to these individuals. First, we have Ev Gallardo. He is a master roof inspector. He's done tons and tons of inspections, really impacting his community. In addition, he's also out there networking with other roofing professionals and explaining how the NRCIA is valuing him. And these guys see it and they want what Ev has. So that's really cool. We have Ernest, who brings his own unique perspective. He is a home inspector who also wanted to gain more experience in roof inspections. And so he's kind of pairing those two together to not only provide a better service for his customers, but then also be able to generate additional and recurring revenue. We have Tim. Tim, he is down in Phoenix, and he has really grown his roofing business in the past. I think he just came up on renewal past couple of years, and all of his employees are certified inspectors. He values the training, the accreditation, and really the differentiation factor that he is able to bring to the Phoenix market. And then Charlie, while he's relatively new to the NRCIA, he is not new to the roofing industry. He comes from 15 years of dedication to Owens Corning at the corporate level, and he has really been hitting the ground running. And he is a testament to, if you adopt and implement these ideas into your business, stay engaged, and say yes, then good things can happen to you. So welcome, everyone. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to do this podcast, but also to pour into the members and even prospective members. So really what I want to do is I want to kind of unpack maybe some of these objections that you had when first exploring the NRCIA, or even conversations that you've had with prospective members out in the field. So when you hear these objections like, I don't have the time, or I'm already busy doing roof projects, what is your natural response to that? Because what we want to do is hear from you who have brought in not only you've seen behind the curtain and you see how this has worked out in your life. So when you hear these objections, I don't have time or I'm already busy, what do you think about that?
If I may, what I'm listening to when they say that is they don't know that they don't know what they don't know. And they're fixed on their job formula. And they're trapped in it and they can't think outside of the box, outside of their thought of reference or their frame of thought, and they're basically stuck because they're not seeing opportunity as an entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah, so they kind of have their own perspective going into things, their own worldview, maybe influenced by their past experiences, and that's kind of what's bringing them into saying these objections. I don't have time, or I'm already busy, because they can't see outside the box that they've created for themselves. Anyone else?
Not only that, anything you want to add to your business, it's going to take time. And if you don't move your business, if you don't make your business grow, you're going to get stumped. You're going to get to a point where you just don't grow anymore. You have to make the time and be willing to actually put the extra effort into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but you get out what you put in.
It's true.
Yeah, that's good. I want to kind of elaborate a little bit. It's like when people say I don't have time, I understand you're busy or active, whatever term you want to use. But in reality, it's like we're not asking you to do something more or different. We're saying, hey, look, we have a program that improves what you're already doing, and it's ultimately going to save you time in the long run. You're going to convert more jobs at higher profit margins. In addition, if like these people are, writing reports, some use Word documents, or others, Inspection Plus helps save time once you get used to it too. So yeah, there's a learning curve, but once you're up to speed, it's a time saver, not something that adds more to your plate.
Yeah. I would put in there that knowledge is power, right? So anytime that, if you're in the business and this is what you're doing, this is the best possible thing that you can do for your customer. So, and then, with what we do here, when I say I don't have the time to go literally inspect or train every single person on my staff. I said, you know what? I look really hard to find the NRCIA, and I said, and it's been wonderful. And I said, when everybody comes on, like Kyle, who just did his, he busted through that in 24 hours, right? So he made the time because he was very interested. And if my people don't have the time, then then they shouldn't be working for me, right? This is just something that you have to do, and it increases your knowledge, it increases your base, helps you talk to your customers better. Why wouldn't you do it? It just saves you time across the thing. A lot of those times, I think when people say that is they're also referring to money. So a lot of times that scares them as well. Right?
It's a smoke screen.
Yeah, it's a total smoke screen. It's like, hey, I just don't want to spend the dough. But you know what? It is absolutely. It's also helped us as a team because we're all proud to be part of the NRCIA, and it's like our little club within a club. It's kind of cool, and other people that come on, the young people, they want what we got. How do I get that? How do I get that designation? Just got to work for it a little bit. Got to show us that you got it.
That's good. So when you bring up price and we're talking about the price is too high, I understand it is an investment. And maybe if you're an individual, the price may seem a little far out of reach. If you're a business and you have several inspectors, it's much easier to absorb. But when people bring up the price is too high, what do you guys think about that? Now seeing you're on the back end of paying the membership, are you earning your money back? Do you still think that price was too high?
No, price is a relative term in any business. But once you look at it as in value, then it's worth its price in gold. Because if I take the NRCIA business model I know it's darn cheap for the value, what it offers, the technology, the innovation, everything that it does. And then just to say, look, if you apply my protocol and my program, my formula, you're going to get your money back really quick. And it's been proven time and time and time and time over and over and over again that that's the fact. So to me, I never look at prices because that's a relative term. How much is too much and how much is too low? But I think it's
What about, making your money back? When I make business decisions, I don't necessarily want to just get back what I've invested, but I want to make money, right? And get an ROI. But how quickly were you able to receive your money back? And then were you able to then profit from the membership as well?
Oh, absolutely. Because being in construction and roofing all my life, what I saw in the NRCIA formula is like, look, you're never ever going to leave your house and come back empty-handed. You're always going to make money, as opposed to going to do free inspections and wasting time.
Yeah.
And that really depends also on how much effort you put into it. I mean, if you can become a member and not put emphasis on it and not, push yourself, then it's gonna take a long time. But if you actually use the methods and, push yourself to go out there and start advertising, using everything that the association's actually giving you, then it'll come faster.
Yeah, you bring up ads. It's like, currently our membership is, at the time of this is $4,000 for the forensic level. People spend $4,000 on ads that you may not get anything from. It's a one hit. You don't get anything, and you got to do it every month or every couple months or whatever the situation is. Where NRCIA accreditation is lifetime value, and it's really what helps separate you from the competition and have these people call you.
Yep.
Like Tim, you did a commercial. I don't know what that costs, and it's a great thing for you for sure. But when you compare the cost to a 30-second commercial that only airs for a certain period of time versus NRCIA and the services that you're able to offer, when you compare the two, there is a pretty big difference. And if you can afford both, absolutely do both.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that any kind of marketing, they always say, that they don't know whether, half of it's good and half of it's bad. So you don't know what you're paying for, but if they're talking about you, then it's good, right? 100% of marketing is good. Nobody can tell you which one's bad, which one's good, right? They just can't. And, but one thing with the NRCIA is that's an accreditation that goes on everything that we do. It goes on our trucks. It goes on everything that we do. Right. So we're promoting that internally ourselves. I mean, that's what differentiates being a member of the NRCIA is what differentiates us from every other person that's knocking on doors out there right now and saying, hey, I'm going to give you a free roof inspection. Well, I tell this to my team every day. Roofers become a 4-letter word, right? People just don't want to talk to roofers. They don't trust them because all they want is to collect a check and move forward. Well, we based our whole program on the complete opposite. We turned it completely on its thing. It's like, hey, we're here to help you. We don't want to replace your roof. And people, they just go, what? We don't, really? Yeah. And if your roof qualifies, we've got some great stuff that we can do to help just maintain it. And it's working great.
That's awesome.
That's a good logo to put on your truck. Your company's name, roofing, and we don't want to replace your roof.
We do it. We save roofs. We save roofs.com. We've got pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Again, at the end of the day, we want the customer. The roof is the byproduct.
And that's it. Business is all about relationship, and that's what we're building is relationship, because they may not need a new roof right now, but let's be honest and upfront, build that trust. And in the future, when they do need a new roof, they're not going to call anyone else because you've already established that relationship.
Correct.
And just a quick plug here, if you're watching this and you do think the price is too high, the NRCIA has a 10x guarantee. So if you don't make 10x your investment, we're going to apply that to the next year's membership. That way you can hit your numbers. We want you to be making money. We believe in this program so much that you can, as long as you stay engaged and say yes. What was that?
Paul, I could probably add in on there, being the new guy. I was busy within my own company, right, doing my own thing, and then we talked. I might be 2 months into this. NRCIA has given me 8 leads. I've landed 6 of those leads. I'm approaching about $10,000 in revenue from those leads. I would say the initial investment was worth it. And it took me a little bit of not just convincing, but thinking about what really the value is. And someone already said it in terms of differentiation. It's a pretty congested market with other roofers. And if everyone's doing the same thing, how do you differentiate yourself? Again, new, but I see it as an avenue to differentiate myself in the market just by inspection alone. If you just don't think about the potential of the work that might come, but you just do the inspections, especially if you know what you're talking about, you know the details, and you know you can handle customers, and you know you can do the inspections, and you're already an expert at some level. I think obtaining the certification and then presenting that comes with a level of expertise beyond your own thinking around how good you are. It establishes you as an expert, and the customers are looking for that. They want that independent review, and they want to know it's coming from an expert. And I have found that on all my inspections so far, they like disarm. They're in battles with their contractor or battles with somebody. And when you come in as the independent, it really gives you a space to operate. And that's been really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. So when you say, let's just unpack that a little bit. When you say, NRCIA leads, we provided you with 8. These leads are, I would say, hot leads. They're not something that we go out and try and find and capture. These are inbound leads from property owners who need help, and they're seeking our members. And so for Charlie, due to his location, we provided him with 8 organic leads. He called them, and 6 of them converted into paid inspections. Sounds like almost $10,000 worth of inspections. And from those inspections, now you're in a position to be a resource and a solution for any repairs or replacements as needed.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a fine line, at least that I'm trying to make sure I manage well in terms of expectations. When I'm with the customer as the inspector, I'm just the inspector. But what I find is people then turn, and there's a trust that's built. And then the next thing they say is, "Oh, you're a roofing contractor too?" And the answer is yes. And I can tell you what I would do here, right? I'm trying to play that soft and let that play out, let it play as it needs to. If they come back to me to perform the work, I'm there for them. And as I tell them or tell anybody else, I would do the work like I'm doing it at my own house or for my mom. So just trying to keep it simple with them.
It's a different approach, right? If you've been in the roofing industry for a long time, you're taught a certain way, or you've done things a certain way. This is a different approach to your customers and ultimately selling through education, honesty, and transparency.
100%. And in and of itself, it's another revenue generator. If you just get the inspection, so be it. It's a nice revenue generator, and it then opens up these other opportunities for additional work.
So for you, on these 6 inspections that you've done, what do you think is the average cost of the inspections that you've performed?
True cost?
Cost to client.
Oh, the average fee that they've been charged is probably $1,100.
Okay.
Now that I sit in Toledo and some of my inspections are 2 hours away. Right.
Yeah.
So as I establish more of my market locally, or at least try to build that, I don't expect myself to be able to get 1,000. Maybe it's going to be lower, but with travel cost and size of the roof and the degree of the forensic inspection, I would say 1,100 somewhere in there would be the average without
Okay.
doing the math.
And so of these 6 that you've done, I agree with the soft approach, and you're trying to, you're 6 weeks in, you're trying to figure this out.
Yep.
One, we're here to help you do that, but at the same time, you're figuring it out as well. Do you have any projects that are, may convert? Have you sent out any proposals, or where are you at there?
Yeah, absolutely. One is a complete re-roof. She's still going through, the customer in that scenario is still going through trying to resolve it with the existing contractor. Based on the work they performed and how they initially responded, I don't think that contractor is going to resolve it accordingly. And I think she's going to come back to me. I gave her an estimate for a full replacement. But that has to play out. I would give that a 70% chance of converting.
Okay. So when we're thinking like, and this is for everyone, if we're thinking, $1,100 an inspection is the average cost, or let's just say $500 too. One of the biggest things that I hear is from prospective members is, hey, look, yeah, you may be able to get that over there, but in my market, things are different. No one's charging for inspections. It's part of the job. What's your initial thought to that? And I think it goes back to Ev's first comment, is like, you're in this box that you've built around yourself. You kind of have these preconditioned expectations or notions. Should inspections be free? And how does that land with the clients?
Never. Me, even myself, I kind of noticed my mind is listening to you guys. And 20 years ago, well, I taught the formula then, but even in the last couple of years, this reality that we're talking about, it would be non-existent, that you could actually get paid for an inspection. But when you break the business model down and the formula that we have, I live in Long Beach and I go all the way to San Diego, LA. There's millions of people in LA. They call us because no one else could do what we do. I had an inspection yesterday. Fire damage due to the firestorms. The homeowner's roofer is working up an estimate, but he wanted me to go do an inspection to submit to his insurance company. And it was like $615. I'm doing a $1,500 inspection right now after the meeting. So when you break down and we're kind of like the Google in the industry, which is completely different. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what is Google? What is the NRCIA? What do we do? It's a completely different formula than what anybody else has even thought or considered of doing. And it works. It's proven. Because of all the value that we offer to the customers in all aspects. Yesterday, I had an inspection. Homeowners bought the house 2 years ago. The roof is 20 years old. They did solar. There's a lot of deficiencies with the roof. Had they had a proper inspection, we'd have identified those deficiencies, and maybe they would have got a credit from the sellers, but he wouldn't have a faulty roof that needs lots of repairs. No one else is going to do that but us, because no roofer has the software or the experience or technology or even consider that a different formula could be applied to roofing. And this is kind of what the NRCIA is. They're just ahead of their different business model that people can't even wrap their minds around. It's just truly wonderful. So you got to look at where you're at. Go online, see who does what you do. No one. And about exactly a year ago, June the 1st, I drove all the way to Arizona to do a commercial inspection for $10,000. 20 years ago, that was not even the realm of possibility. but because my mindset has shifted, it's truly possible each and every day. Because I live my thought reference is, I live in a world of proof of possibility, not a proof of failure. Everything is possible. I'm looking for a $20,000, $50,000 roof inspection. That's what I want next.
Well, I know $20,000 inspections are possible firsthand, but who knows what the future has in store. And if you listened in last week, you heard what these real estate agents shared about, casting their vision on what the future looks like. And it's bright for any of these, certified roof inspectors, because they see the need and the demand, and they're leaning into it more. So that's good. What do you think? So kind of reiterating the question, my town's 4,800 people, and one of my goals was basically to say, hey, look, if I can start a roof inspection business in a town of 4,800 people in the middle of Montana, you can do it wherever you're at. There's 150 5-star contractors who serve my city. So highly saturated. Going to Charlie's point and Tim's point, it's a differentiating factor. And if I can do it here, you can do it wherever you're at watching this video. But these prospective members will also say, like, homeowners in my area won't pay for it. So how do you go from the mindset of my customers won't pay for it to actually landing your first inspection, a paid inspection?
That's kind of, and because it all goes into business principles. We're assuming what the customer is thinking, and that's totally false. We cannot qualify the other person's need and what they need from us. Because if we already thought that way, we're already in a proof of failure. So to me, that doesn't even exist, because I know the value that I could bring. My inspection could get you $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 back. So it's when you compare the price relative to what you're getting back, it's pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so a portion, there's a lot that goes into what we do. And before we move on to the next one, Ev, we've talked countless times where you are thinking about the NRCIA and the overall process. And you've said over and over, it is so simple, it's complicated.
Yes, because it's all mental. That's why we have the masterminds, because we have to master our mind and we have to master our thinking process. Because we show up to life, and especially business, with what we know. And we inspect what's known, not what's possible. Once we show up with the proof of possibility, then everything becomes possible. Then you understand your value. Then you love what you're doing, and then you're serving your customers and you're helping, and then everything shifts because you know your value. And then you look at all the metrics. Who else is doing this? No one. Why do we offer tons of value? And that's kind of as a business owner, like Ernie was saying, you put your work in. Because to me, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm just wired as I'm going to give it my all, because I know in all the businesses that I had, a lot of them failed, but the ones that worked, I made my money 5 times fold. So when I'm in it 1,000%, because I don't know which business is going to bear fruit 1,000 times, 10 times, 20 times. But that's kind of the whole process. You almost have to give yourself a chance to participate. Because when you look at it as, say you were going over to climb Mount Everest, well, you wouldn't dare go without training, getting a guide that could guide you up and down, possibly, because if not, you know what's going to happen. It's kind of the same thing in business. You come to the right association, they have the proven method, they've proven it for over 25 years. It works. Just plug into it and then just show up, and it'll all work out for you. Plus, you get your money back if it doesn't.
Yeah. You bring up the word association, and sometimes this maybe has like a negative connotation to it, because prospective members who don't really know what it is that we're doing, they just automatically assume that we're just like every other association who takes yearly dues, and they don't really get much out of it. It's more of a gimmick or a scam. Now being involved with the NRCIA and seeing how it's impacting not only your authority and your credibility and the ability to offer more types of services to kind of stay consistent and steady throughout the year, generate revenue, how would you address that, where it's like, hey, I don't want to just pay for another association due?
Well, I could say if you just take any business model and you take construction, it's quite a large distinction, but it has everything to do with being profitable. You take recession-proof businesses, construction companies, and non-recession-proof. What I've learned here is the NRCIA ties all different facets of construction together, which makes it recession-proof, because you've got your regular inspections, you've got your real estate inspections, and you've got just your failure inspections. You've got out in California, you've got the SB 721 deck inspections. So there's just a different variety of different business models in the roofing industry where you can make money. It's different sources of revenue. So it just offers so much, like nothing that I've ever seen, because it combines everything together for you, and then you've just got different streams of revenue from different sources. Inspections, construction, repairs, just so many different things. And then you've got the software. It's just all there for you to plug into.
Yeah. I kind of want to, in a minute here, I kind of want to wrap up with what, each of you guys to share. What is your hope for the future? How do you see this impacting the future of your business and that type of thing? But real quick, when I'm talking about comparing associations, or even how the NRCIA is impacting the roofing industry, there's going to come a point at some point in the future that, a roofing contractor's license isn't going to cut it. If you've done inspections for any period of time, you see what type of workmanship goes on out there. And so not only does someone need to have a contractor's license, but then it's going to be like one of the basic things to do is to get certified through a national association, whether that be the NRCA or us, just anyone else that kind of holds you to a higher standard and make sure that you're doing things right beyond just the contractor's license. That's where I see it going.
Yeah, you're right about that, Paul, because we've all seen some of the shoddy work that these contractors do, and it's not even them, it's their workers. Some of that work, you're just sitting there wondering, how do they really even know anything about roofing? And unfortunately, a lot of the customers don't have the knowledge of knowing if their roof is put on right or wrong, or following proper steps. And if some of these contractors are friends with some of these city inspectors, they get signed off without even looking at it.
And one of the biggest things that I see is, a salesman goes out, sells the job, the crew does the work, but there's no like project management or oversight to make sure it was done good.
Yep.
They're just in it for the check.
Yep.
Another one that I hear often is, this sounds too good to be true. It sounds too good to be true. For $4,000, you're promising all this stuff. You're giving a warranty or guarantee that I'm going to make my money back. It sounds so good that it can't be real. Do you guys sense that or feel that at all?
No.
Do you see the real value to what it is that you're doing?
I see the real value, because going back to what you were saying about the fees for paid for an inspection compared to a free inspection. Me as a homeowner, if I was getting a free inspection done, I mean, we all know that there's very few perfect roofs. All roofs need some kind of work. If they're 5 years old or older, they need some kind of work done to them. So if you do a free inspection and they come down and they say, okay, your roof needs this, that, and that, that certain things. Well, I'm looking at them now like, okay, well, yeah, that's why it's free, because you want to make money out of it. Whereas if I pay someone to do an inspection, I'm actually paying for a service, and I expect them to come down with some kind of, fines. I'm gonna find it wrong if they come down and say, no, your roof is perfect, there's nothing wrong with it. Then what did I pay you for? That's the difference between a free inspection and a paid inspection.
Yeah.
Um,
Go for it, Ev.
I want to ask you a question, Ernie.
With that.
When was the last time you did a free home inspection? I want to know, when was the last
I think
time?
that was the first year I opened in 2001, and that was like, you do 10 inspections, you get one free.
Is that
that went away real quick.
is that out of the realm of reality?
No, there's no way. My time is worth money.
Because it's the opposing. You're posing the opposite question to what we're talking about. For the same reason that you understand the cost of doing business, time and energy, and value in what you do. So when you flip that around, it's the same thing. Why would you? You
Correct.
wouldn't get a free home appraisal. But that's kind of like, everything that shows up, it's our own objections on proof of failure. Oh, this can be right. This cannot be done. That sounds too good to be true, because that's who's showing up. Proof of failure. Show me the way. And once you show people the way, they still reject it, because it's their neurons are not conditioned to listen to new thoughts or thinking. Unless you're truly an entrepreneur, then then everything is a gift. You understand that every action you take produces fruits. You sow and then you reap.
Right.
Pretty basic, but that's kind of, I wanted to ask you that because it just kind of, it deflates the other argument.
Quick case study on my end. I got 2 days ago, I got a call from a realtor, and who, by the way, it came from, I met this realtor at one of her open houses. So what I like to do is when there's an open house, I drive by. I'm not in the market to buy a home, but I know there's going to be realtors there who are probably bored and just want someone to walk through the door. So I'll stop by open house, introduce myself, basically say, this is what I do. You don't need a roof inspection now, but when you do in the future, at least you know who to call. And since then, she's been feeding me inspections. Not a lot, but as needed. So on this particular transaction, she's representing the seller. So she's the listing agent. And during their inspection period, they had another roofer come out for free to do a free inspection. No report, no nothing. He actually summarized his inspection findings in a text message with a price for the re-roof. And so that didn't sit very well with them. They didn't trust him, and they ended up hiring me for $600 to do this inspection. At the end of my inspection, yes, this roof was at the end of its serviceable life. However, near the end of its serviceable life. However, this roof could be repaired and needed about $12,000 worth of work in order to get a 2-year roof certification, which is really all the sellers wanted to provide to the new owner. And so I submitted that report last night. And not only were they impressed, they were also relieved knowing that they didn't need a new roof. They know it was coming soon. But we provided them with the solution to help bring both sides, the buyer and the seller, to the closing table and help keep that deal together. So one of the taglines that you probably have heard, we help real estate pros close deals when roof-related issues come up. I got $600 for the inspection. I may end up getting asked to do the work. But if not, they have a solution. They might just provide them with a credit, and then the buyer can choose to use that money towards a roof replacement. I don't know. But that
you put points
shows
there.
the difference between a free inspection and even the need for a paid inspection after a free inspection has been performed.
So you prove my point there, that when you get a free inspection, right away as an owner, when they come back with any kind of findings, they're going to be negative about it, because you're giving a service for free. You're trying to make money another way. So
Right.
They'll trust you because they're paying you to go out there and find your findings. Not only did you find that, yeah, the roof could be certified for 2 years with certain repairs done, but they feel more confident in yours because they're paying for it. They know that you're there doing a service that's being paid for.
That's it.
Or it's almost mind-boggling that homeowners would rather trust someone that they pay for, but it's true. If I got a free service, whether it be an air conditioning service, a plumbing service, or anything free, I'm expecting them to find something because they want to make their money somehow.
My biggest inspection, $20,000 in Idaho. I was hired after 5 other roofing companies went out there for free to do their own evaluation. At the end of it, I told them the condition, and they were happy to pay the $20,000 because that provided peace of mind. So they knew that replacing that roof or restoring that roof was the right decision to do, and they weren't being sold. They were being educated, and so they knew that it was money well spent.
Yep.
So
It speaks to the quality of the information we provide, in that the report, you have your observation, the cause, and the remedy at a very detailed level, and the software helps with that, and the process helps with that. I think it's about quality, and people have already said it. If it's free and someone texts you their opinion, it's different if you pay for it, and a very quality, detailed report is given on the roof. It is giving the correct information, accurate and timely information to the homeowner or the property owner around really what the state is. And I think that value, for those who are busy doing their own thing, who always do free estimates, they're missing on that detail and that quality piece. That I see that as a differentiator in the whole process of the free inspection versus the paid inspection. People can call me and say, hey, my dad's roof, will you come take a look at it? Yeah, if it's a buddy, I'm still going to go over there. I'm not going to charge them, $600 to do the roof inspection. But for those that are out there doing free inspections, to the earlier point, they're looking to land the roof. They're not giving the owner the information they need. And I think that independent inspector has a nice opportunity to deliver that report. Even if it stops there, I think there is a demand out there for people who are looking for that. And I'm only now starting to understand that demand because I'm in this space, but I'm running into it left and right of people who will pay for that independent inspection. They want that to help resolve either the homeowner to the contractor or the property owner, whatever it is, whatever the parties may be. They need a third party person who's independent to come in. And that's a great opportunity.
yeah, I love it. Ernest says all the time, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And that's kind of like, to your point, Charlie, is like, you've been in this space, however, you haven't really been exposed to it. And now that you're exposed to it, you see the opportunity left and right.
Yeah, if insurance companies will pay field inspectors to do reports, if people will pay home inspectors to do reports, why not then a detailed roof inspection, especially for something that has such a high dollar value for a replacement, and also value and meaning for the home. To get a good independent review of that asset makes a lot of sense for what I'm discovering to be more and more people.
And Charlie, you're right about the reporting system. That's another thing, is that when they get the report, it's so detailed and user friendly that they're surprised and amazed with it. I mean, they look at all the detailed pictures that we take. They look at all the information we're giving them, and it's worth the price they're paying for that inspection.
Yeah. So not only like the authority and that trust with like the badge value and that credibility, but then the tangible receivable that client gets. You get a comprehensive inspection report or a text message or a 1-page, written on company letterhead. That again is that differentiating factor. It has that feel of professionalism. And if they're going to do this level of thoroughness during the evaluation, I would expect that they're going to do the job right. And that's what builds the trust.
Yeah.
So we have a wide range. I got 2 more questions. We have a wide range of membership. If we're looking just at the roofing professionals, we have anyone who is brand new to roofing or who want to break into the roofing space. And then we have the people who've been doing it for 40 years. And so a wide spectrum. What would you say to the people who are interested in the NRCIA, but basically are saying, hey, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years without the NRCIA. I don't need you. What would your response to that be?
Is that person an inspector, somebody who's already inspecting?
Let's say it's a roofing contractor.
I'll say my famous saying, you don't know what you know until you know.
Yeah.
You might hit your plateau on your business and you don't even know it.
Yeah, because that's kind of everything we're saying is you don't know what you don't know all the time. But you have to have the business mindset. You have to get up knowing that you don't know anything and you're not going to grow unless you take a chance, because running a business is hard. We're talking about the marketing. I spent tens of thousands of dollars in marketing that didn't work because you're just trying to find out what works. And, this is a program that's all set up for you. It's been around for 25 years and it really, really works. So it's all there. It's all been thought out. Because if you're just running your own roofing business based on what you know and you're stuck in your patterns, that's what's going to show up every time, because you're not going to know anything better. You're not going to use technology that's coming up. You're not going to use high-end software. You're not really growing and evolving. So I know personally it's painful when you just stick to one form of business. Like for me, it was just recession-proof based on what the interest rate was doing. And it's the bust and boom. And then I look at the other business models that my friends did, non-recession proof. They were always busy. So for the NRCIA, they just open our window to all the opportunities for us to seize, and they kind of open our mind to what's possible, because they're showing us every day what's possible. And once we plug in and we see it, then we get results. Because if you try to do it on your own, it's going to be harder. And if you're really smart and you're a really true entrepreneur, you're going to do the due diligence, you're going to do the research, you're going to do data, you're going to break everything down, you're going to do business analytics, you're all going to break it down, and you're going to say, where can I find that technology to do all the easy work for me? And you're not going to find it unless you come to NRCIA, because no one does what we do. I get that every day in LA, in San Diego. They're trying to find us.
You bring up like having a business-minded, perspective. Charlie, how we got introduced was very unique. But what I will say is, I probably called 30 to 50 roofing companies in your market.
I wasn't the first one?
No.
Oh, man.
And most people were closed off to the idea. Oh, paid inspections is not something that we do. Okay, well, we have a program for you. Or do you want to get paid for your roof inspections? No, we only want to run free estimates when we can try and sell the work. And so the majority of the roofing industry is so closed-minded that it celebrates people like you who kind of see the writing on the wall, and you're not necessarily saying, yes, I'll do it, but you're at least smart enough to have a 10 to 15 minute conversation to see if there's any traction here. So that's kind of what we're up against. And, it's kind of in our favor as NRCI members because the majority of the industry doesn't want to do what we do. And that's okay because it allows us the opportunity to step in, serve these customers, and charge for our expertise because it is valuable.
Yeah. And
Yeah, go for it.
just a point on that, like one thing that keeps coming to me on this particular point is trends, in that how many new roofing crews are out there every year? It feels like the labor pool. I mean, someone could say that there's enough. How many people are coming to work with their hands on a daily basis across the country? Everybody talks about the needs for more and more trade. All right, how many people are out there that could be in a position to be an expert? I think it's less than the labor force. So if you do have a skill set of history, if it's with roofing, or the ability to adapt into the details of roofing, maybe you were inspected something else. I just don't think, it's not that we're expecting 100% growth in inspectors in the next 10 years. I don't know. I haven't done the research. It's just my gut feel. But I think people need more and more because there's fewer people doing the work. The need already exists for the expert. And this group allows that to be encompassed within the network with the logo, with the software, everything. It gives you an opportunity to be an expert. And I think the need for expertise is going up. I don't think the number of people that are going to be experts is going to outpace the demand. So if you could get into the space and start to work that within your network or nationally, wherever this goes, right? Because the need's there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's in your backyard. There certainly is demand in your backyard. But trend-wise, becoming an expert, I think, is a great thing. There's fewer and fewer people who actually could be experts in something. And if you're one of them, make it happen.
Yeah, I couldn't echo that more. I also think that as we continue in the next decade or so, I truly believe that instead of these property owners calling around 5 different contractors, roofing contractors for quotes, their first call is going to be to an NRCIA member to establish a unbiased actual condition of the roof that will be a paid service. And then that homeowner will use that report to then either shop around or hire that member to do the work. So I think the NRCI member is going to be the first call, not the last when the roof project has gone wrong.
Right.
So we do know that the NRCIA is not for everyone. And to be honest, we don't want everyone. We just want the best roofing professionals who adopt our NRCIA core values and code of ethics and serve their members with excellence. So I guess if you want to be the authority and be that expert, like Charlie's saying, in your market, protect yourself legally and earn more from your expertise, the time to act is now. Every week that you wait, you leave revenue and opportunities and market positioning on the table. So our most successful members are the ones who took the leap while the others were still thinking about it and waiting on the sidelines. So reach out to NRCIA staff. We'd love to connect with you and learn a little bit more about your business. Before we hop off here, if you don't mind just going around, what does the future look like for you guys in your market? Charlie, I know you're working on some cool things with Owens Corning. What does the future look like for you?
I need to do more inspections. I need to grow the business locally. But I do think there's some opportunities at the regional or national level to tap into needs that are out there. If it be with larger shingle manufacturers, I think this need for independence is there. And providing this as a service to people that need it is an area that I'm starting to focus on. So I think it's growing it locally within my, footprint and building awareness around what I do now for people. And then also looking to do the same thing, but ideally at the scale of it would be a broader with groups, trying to tap into larger groups that have that need. And if it be that comes to this network or to me or vice versa, or like whatever, just trying to leverage this into a larger pool.
I love it. Looks like, I don't know if Ed's still on, but Tim, Ernest.
Yeah, I would agree with Charlie. I mean, we absolutely love being part of the NRCIA. We love talking to our customers about it, but we haven't done any advertising behind it. We haven't done that part yet, right? We haven't really flocked that out there. So that'll be on our radar for sure. To really start advertising that. I mean, with our I'm having a meeting with my marketing guy today at 11:30. So perfect opportunity to shake the tree.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And definitely that the home inspection business has a broad opening as far as forensic certified roof inspector be attached to it. I think all my clients will take more credence in the fact that I am certified by the NRCIA. But that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate all of you guys taking the time out again. It's great to hear from you, from your perspectives, other than our phone calls that we have a lot, and I appreciate those too. But it's nice to huddle up and kind of meet with one another and hear from you about these real life objections and how you are overcoming them in your market. We hit our hour, so it's kind of a hard stop for there. So if anyone needs to hop off, feel free to do so. However, I will stick on and kind of open it up for some question and answer and go from there.
Cool. Thank you, Paul.
See you,
Thanks,
Tim.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Riley.